Come and get started on a new mission, a new direction, a new intention. Welcome to 5.8G Alive at Connections 50 Plus. I am Terry-Ann Joseph Brathwaite.
And I am Jennifer Gibbons Joseph, catering to all your prospects in the third act of life.
Economic well-being, social gratification, personal fulfillment.
Join us on Wednesday at 6 p.m. on Connections 50 Plus Facebook page, YouTube channel,
and on Gael the Caribbean. Good afternoon and welcome. Welcome one and all, 5.8G Tribe. Welcome to 5.8G Alive. I am Terry-Ann Joseph Brathwaite, one of the co-creators of Connections 50 Plus, which is bringing you 5.8G Alive. With me as usual.
Hi, good evening all. I am Jennifer Gibbons Joseph, the other co-creator of Connections 50 Plus. Welcome, welcome.
Yes. Jennifer, it's been a lovely time. We have a big agenda today, a long agenda.
Yes.
So we have been, we just have to say thank you to everyone as we've delved into this topic of getting prepared for life in the 70s. You know, we keep saying that the 5.8G stage has 3 stages. There's the 50s, there's the 60s, and there's the 70s, take you from 50 to 80. And how you live one stage really impacts how you go into another.
Yeah.
And we have been looking closely at whether you're in your 50s, especially if you're in your 60s, or if you've just started your 70s, are you really prepared? Because we really have to begin winding down and transitioning to this new life. Hey, Jennifer?
Definitely. And you can't wait until 1 year prior.
No.
You have to start early. We see how important it is for us to begin planning at an early stage. Yeah.
Exactly. So we are doing the last 2. Remember, we had 4 questions.
Yeah.
And we dealt with who are you minding? The dollar, the pockets.
Yes.
Last week, we dealt with where are you living? And we got some really, really good. I mean, I think people are stunned and silent. And then afterwards, they call us, Jennifer and Terry-Ann. But don't worry, we'll get there. It's all of us. We are getting there and we're getting there together. So today we're dealing with the last 2 areas. The first one is
how are you going?
Yes.
And what are you doing? Yes.
Exactly. So let's get back on the other side and we will start our discussion. Jennifer, you know, very often we meet friends and we say, how you going? And the response is, I good. But when we say how you're going in respect to preparing for the 70s, what are we talking about?
You know, Terry-Ann, definitely, how are you going? When I ask someone, you know, how are you going? The response automatically is towards their health. You know, so say, I'm doing great, I'm in good health, or these days I'm not feeling too good, or I have a pain here or pain there. So they normally respond to, like, if it's a health question, like, are you in good health?
Yes.
So, how are you going? Want to know that, are you okay?
The whole
are you okay? You're balancing, everything okay? How you feeling, you know? So that's how I look at how you going. Actually, are you happy? Are you stressed? Are you, satisfied with your life as it is? What's happening? You know, so that's how I look at how are you doing.
You know, I would in this, I so agree with you. And if I'm to summarize it, I would say how you're going is really recognizing that we are all transitioning. We are transitioning to different phases in that third phase. When I say, how are you going? I am really asking you a question, looking into your soul, into your being, and saying, how is that journey going? And that journey impacts every aspect of you, your health, your finances, how are you going? So we want to go through a couple of areas that we think, if you examine them along with us, you might come up with really an honest view of how you're going. And what we want you to do is, based on that assessment of how you're going, make decisions to go in a good direction, a good path, you know? So Jennifer, the first one, we normally, so you want to know how you're going. I think one of the main things you need to know is really what is important in your life now. What is important, and not the reflex, money, the children. You know, we have a list of things that may have been what we rattled off 20, 30 years ago. But if you are in a different earning bracket, all right, if your children are, for all intents and purposes, independent adults, if whether your spouse is with you or you're on your own, whatever your state of health is, what really is important to you now? Jennifer, I find sometimes people aren't sure what the answer to that question is. And I wonder how they make priorities.
But that's true. And we are dealing with moving into a different stage of life. So Terry-Ann, at one stage, so let's say in the 60s, when you just turn 60 or something, say, how you going? And you say, doing great, you know, because you just retire, you just got a lump sum and you're all excited and you're doing the things that you want to do. And if you ask that same question 5 years down the road, your response might be different.
Yeah.
All right. So I believe the timing, when you ask yourself that, a lot of things could have happened prior.
Yes.
So I believe we should keep checking ourselves as we go along. You know, similarly how we suggest that people have their goals and we look at your goals and you do a self-check.
Yeah.
This, you know, we have been having a lot of rain recently, and I posted, I really took, it was such, which day it was, just rain and more rain. Yeah. And I felt that, you know, I could afford to just lie down in bed and I have nothing planned. And I took that opportunity to really do that self-check and say, and knowing that we're doing this program, and say, Jennifer, how we really cool. You know, and I look back again at the things I have been doing, which had me exhausted and all that. And I'm saying, you need to slow down. You need to take time to check where you are now, where your life is at, and look at what's happening around you. So you're looking at the moment, the present, and then take it from there. So my focus on that day was more on the present, not the future. You know, so it's about how I was feeling. I really took note about how I was feeling, looking at my health. And then it occurred to me, you know what? We are in July and I need to do that annual checkup.
Yeah.
You know, time flies so quickly. And I thought of certain feelings I was having and I said, you know what, I should do that checkup. If I didn't take that time out to really reflect and be in that moment, I would not have been reminded that I have to do that annual checkup.
Yeah.
You know, so being in that moment, checking what is happening to you at the time would help you in your decision making, is what you really need to do to enjoy the life that you want to enjoy.
Yeah. And as they say, what's important to you now really is a reflection of your values. And Jennifer, I am finding that we both for different reasons, live in a pressure cooker. A lot of demands are being thrown at, pulled from. And one of the things that I absolutely value is my peace. I am not letting my peace be disturbed by anyone, because I don't at this stage have a dependent who warrants my stopping, dropping, and attending to. The people who were that in my life can wait. They can hold on, unless of course there's a medical emergency or something like that. And I just today, you know, I've had I plan to go on vacation soon, and something happened today that would derail most people's plans. And I sat down, and it involves my parents. It involves some people who are dear to me. And I sat down and I said, nope, I'm not changing my plans. Something is going to happen. I got the pain behind my head. I got all the pressure points. And I just sat down, just like you did, meditated a while, sort centered myself, and I just calmly made arrangements, other arrangements, and life continues. And I know right now in my life, my peace cannot be disturbed or taken from me. And that's very, very important. But Jennifer, there are many, many people who are so distracted by what I will call in some instances the baubles and trinkets of life, or the issues that they live in their communities and so on. There's too much distraction to figure out what's important to them, and they are not making decisions that would help them to survive in a livable way.
You spoke earlier on your values, and your values guide your decision making and how you feel about certain things. And okay, so for instance, you were able to take that situation that happened with you and take time out to make a decision. But you were guided by, you are not allowing yourself.
You're not taking my peace.
Right? So for you, peace is that's critical. Okay. Someone else may not look at it like that. So a situation happened, and I using the values here, and they may think that parent is first, so that other person comes first, because if I don't, I will be selfish. So they would, and using the local term, what they say, run your blood to water. Is that's the same. Which means that you're going all out. You may be tired, you're not feeling well, all the other things that you're feeling before, but somehow you put that aside and you give priority to doing that other thing. And it's different things. So just, that at the end of the day could add more stress to you. So on one, you made the decision to go ahead because you believe that is what you have to do. That's what's in your heart, right? And this is how, we tend to say this is how we are. And you do that, and and if you do it and that person not appreciative, or after you do it, you realize that you didn't need to. It adds more pressure onto you.
You're vexed.
Yeah, Yeah.
Yeah.
So my thing is, and especially, and remember, folks, we are talking about moving into one stage to the other, preparation for the 70s as we grow older. So remember, we are not, our energy level, let me put it that way, is not as high. So when we spend a lot of our energy on certain things that doesn't improve our own lives, then at the end of the day, it's just pure frustration and terror. And you tend, if you're thinking along those lines, you tend not to focus on where you're going.
Exactly.
You understand?
How you're going is you begin to front, because at the end of the day, you want to honestly, when you say, I am fine, I am happy, you want to be happy. And if you're making decisions that you know, if you have to have a commitment, accept the commitment and be at peace with it.
Yes.
And go on.
Not.
But don't
Let me
have
say
the
this. It's have situations where you're doing it and you're complaining. You finish doing the chore, whatever it is, and you're still complaining. You're vexed. You're vexed with the person that you helped out. You're vexed with the decision that you made. And no, and I agree with you. We have to think before. How is it going to affect our lives? You know, but before we do that, we need to know what we want.
What's important, because Jennifer, if we keep doing things that at our core we know we cannot come to peace with,
you can't.
We're going to be stressed, and that is going to cause us to end up sick. It's going to bring us pressure. All kinds of things are going to happen to us, and we won't survive. And I don't mean we're going to die, probably.
No, but you're adding more stress. Yeah. And that's why at this stage, you know, you hear about mindfulness a lot. I see mindfulness as a critical aspect of our lives moving in as we age. Talk about 60s to 70s to 80s. We must be very mindful of our situation and what we want for us,
You know, and Jennifer, the thing is that while we look at what's the most important thing in your life right now, and we may have something that we value, it doesn't make the fact that the other things can't be done. But there are things that we can do to mitigate. And we have recommendations. And I think one of the main things is simple, but so many of us don't do it again. Have that plan to stay active, eat well, avoid depression, and just what we feed ourselves. How nutritious is our food? Are we eating on time? Are we thinking about what we put into ourselves? Because if we don't do that, this stress beats us down, Jennifer.
It affects your mind.
Yes.
You know, recently, I'm trying to think of the conversation. Oh, when we had Zulema Charles on the program speaking about health, and we're talking about aging, and she gave an example of how she's feeling, and at her age she couldn't remember things. She just couldn't function, you know, and that it makes a difference. If we don't watch our health, we're going to be more forgetful. I can't find the keys, you know. And it taught me, say, you know what, I have to be more mindful of what I do. I have to start making sure I put things in a certain place all the time, you know. So, and eat our health, what I have, I mean, really very proud of Terry. And I remembered when I did my whole health check, and I did the nutrition with Maria about what to eat, etc. I wasn't drinking lots of water. And she said, as you grow older, you should drink more water.
It's so important that we not only eat well, but we move. I don't want to use the word exercise.
We do things.
We bend, we stretch, we make sure all the muscle groups get a little activity and a little.
Let me add this here. We didn't tell you all we partied over the weekend. That was real activity. You know how long I have been dancing there?
No, we can do that and we can tell them that at the end, how we spend the weekend.
But yeah, to stay active, even within the house, Terry-Ann.
Yeah.
You know, I walk around. I walk around the house. I look for things to do.
Yeah.
You know, you garden. We keep talking about that. It is so important to keep yourself active.
And I think what we talk about mindfulness, and this is so linked to how you're going. Every time we check the clock, I do it up on an hourly basis. My body's just into the rhythm. And I just ask myself, what have you been doing for the last hour? Have you been sitting? And then just stand. You know, so sometimes just that act of standing, if I'm sitting at my desk doing something and an hour, 2 hours have passed, I consciously get up and I move, I make sure, and that is an important part of managing how you're going, you know?
Yeah.
Jennifer, the next one has to do with those things that you don't want to do, but you find yourself having to do. How do we deal with those things?
You know, again, what I do, Terry-Ann, I write down things that, you know, on a daily basis, you know, what my day would be like. So say, you know, today I would do whatever. I actually make a note of it, as simple as that may be, to keep me focused, Because if on that list may be an item that, as you say, don't like to do, you're not happy with, then you think of how to approach it. So you're going to be happy in doing it and not get yourself frustrated, because that's how the frustration comes in. Huh?
Yeah.
You're doing whatever it is, whatever chore, and you're upset about it, you know. Or you can decide as it comes up, say, and I did that actually. I mentioned that today. I found I can't just, I like gardening and certain things I just can't do again. And I knew today I wanted to put down certain plants, etc. I asked the guy to, I say we outsource that, as simple as it is. I asked the gardener who was around, I said, when you come into the area, just pass and I want you to put down 3 plants there for me. You understand? So it didn't frustrate me spending the morning just, you know, digging that hole. Yeah. So that may sound simple, but it eased my mind.
Yeah. And Jennifer, the thing about it, and that outsourcing, you may get help to garden, but at this stage in life, a lot of things that you do mundane every day, that you've been doing for all of your life will send you back crazy.
Yeah.
And sometimes it's as simple as once a month, once a week, have somebody come in and deep clean the house so that the burden of maintaining your home doesn't weigh you down. You could maintain it. Have somebody, sometimes you have the funds there, you have the money, hoarding it, as it were. I mean, if you don't have it, you don't have it. But sometimes we spend time complaining about, oh, I have to cook and I have to clean and I have to do my laundry and I have to do this, and we quarrel and give ourselves. Just get somebody to help you. Get help.
Yeah. And you can get help in different ways. There are certain things I love to do. Like I tell my friends, I would go. I like to, you know, they say put away house. Some people don't like to do that. So I visit and I say, okay, you want help? I can do that. I like doing it. So you can look at what you like to do and what you don't like to do. You may have a friend that like to do what you don't like to do.
Yeah.
And you get support.
Yeah. I think the main thing is, apart from knowing what is important to you, for how are you going? If you're on edge and angry because you find yourself having to do things that you really don't like, as Jennifer says, get somebody to help you, get a buddy to make it less burdensome, get some appliance to make it easier, or hire somebody to ease the burden. Sometimes you want to go out and you can't drive. Like you don't drive anymore.
Well, I could attest to that. I went out and had a good time, and I didn't drive.
You deny yourself the chance to do something that you like because I can't get there. Hire a driver and go. So many of us just stifle ourselves when there are easy solutions. It might be once a quarter, but do it. You know.
But the other thing, Terry, and too, and many of us do it when, as we grow older, you tend to doubt yourself and say, I wonder if I should still do this. Should we still go to a party? Should we still do this? What, you know, and it all depends. I remember in growing up, I had a friend who mom, she had a young mom in those days. So let's say I was in my late 20s. So maybe the mom would have been about 40 or something. And when we go to parties and sitting, the mother will come. And I used to say, where the mother going? And you know, I find the mother so old to go. But now I'm at this stage. So because I used to think like that, like certain places, if I have to go, I check, I say, I wonder if I'm too old to go. So we have to be careful how we date ourselves.
What rules are you using? I like to say what rules and who is
we have to be careful because if not, Terry, and many of us will be stuck at home, you know. You don't want to go anywhere because you feel you no longer belong.
At the end of the day, as we say, it's how you're going. And if you know what's important to you, it is about getting you being in control of you and making sure that the decisions that you are making are really based on your happiness. It doesn't mean that you ignore things. You find ways to get past the things that you would prefer not to be involved in, but you have to do. All right? And there are solutions for every issue. And Jen, one of the things that I think we don't do, and it is the reason that we allow the world and other people to shape our opinions, is that we don't take inventory of our own assets. And I don't only mean financial assets here. I am thinking about your intelligence, your creativity, your personality, your simple humanity. What kind of person am I? Am I kind? Am I happy? Am I outgoing? Am I friendly? And how are you using those assets? Because sometimes we sit down and when we think of our assets as ourselves, because your assets are what you will use to cause your life to be enjoyable or whatever it is, we think it's only about money or things that you have. No. Sometimes if you know you're good gardener, you're a good baker, you're a great conversationalist, you are a compassionate person and people feel good around you. All those things have to lift you, but we don't take stock like that and find joy.
I always learn from very early that I am my biggest asset, my greatest asset. So you tell me you are your greatest asset. So from that, you appreciate you value yourself.
Exactly.
To make you happy.
Yeah.
You know? Yeah.
Good. And finally on this, how you're going scene. We've been talking about what makes us happy, what we do to stay active and stay healthy, how we can find people to help us do things, and what are our assets. But you know, the purpose of all of this, whatever we are and all the blessings that we have and so on, is that we are meant to share it with the world and share it with others. Because if we are generous in spirit, we will still end up healthy and strong and organized with a cupboard bonus in the house.
Yeah.
So it is so important to just, whether it's time, whether it is money, whether it is skills, how are we using them to share with others, to help others? Because Jennifer, I don't know that anyone who is not doing something like that can say I'm going good.
I'm not too sure about that. I remembered someone telling me that they love their solitude, they love being home, doing nothing. They prefer being at home than socializing. They're more introvert.
Yeah.
And so for them, they find happiness within, I guess. They find happiness within.
But that person might be active in a charitable.
Well, maybe.
And that's what I'm talking about. Yeah, you don't have to
depends.
necessarily do it in a social way, but you give back. You contribute in some, it may be one-on-one, you may not be out partying and stuff like that, but that generosity of spirit in terms of helping to make this world a better place. Because I am yet to find a person who is all caught up in themselves and not participating or contributing to their community or society in any way.
I would like to think for this group, the 60 plus going into 70, that people by now would have recognized their talents, their skills, what they like and what you don't like, and really, unearth these skills and these talents and do something about it. And we're not talking about going in, we're not talking about making any money, we're not talking about entrepreneurship or anything.
No.
We are talking about being useful and helping others,
Chatting with a neighbor, waving at a neighbor, going in the church, being kind to people. No. Yeah. So when we say, how are you going? I hope, listeners, that you realize that this is, it's for you to really check into yourself and say, really, how am I going? In my opinion, how am I going? Am I really going well, or is that an automatic? Yes, I'm fine, with a big bright smile. And that doesn't mean that you have to tell everybody every woe in your life. It just means you have to manage yourself to be able to be still happy, notwithstanding the things that you have around you. So Jennifer, that's how are you going? So we know who we're minding, we know who we live in. Let's go on at the end of the day, sum total of all that.
Yeah.
What are you doing? And I will add, with yourself.
That's a very important question, Terry-Ann, for us to end with it. What are you doing with yourself? Are you bored? Because listen to me, every time I have my granddaughter, from the time she do one activity, she's bored, and I recognize it is so easy for us to say we're bored.
Yeah.
And we're only bored because we are not, and we said it in the early on, we are not recognizing our skills and talent and the amount of things that we can do.
Yes. Yes.
As a child, you may have to tell them what to do and guide them. But as an adult at this stage in our lives, when we have more time, we have lots of time now. Some of us fill up our time by taking care of the grands or, different ways. We have time.
Yeah. And there's a simple question we can ask. Think back to when we were working or busy with children, family rearing and stuff. There must have been stuff you said, oh God, I wish I could do this. I wish you jump stop you from doing it. Well, now is the time to get to it.
Yeah.
Instead of just not being involved and not being active. And when I say active, doesn't mean you have to be up and down prancing, but having purpose, and because it's important when you go into your 70s, getting ready to go there, you must have something to do. You must know why you have to get up.
Yeah.
You know?
Listen to me, if you don't know why, Terry Ann, it's easy to go into some sort of depression, you know. And when you reach that stage, you don't even know you're in that stage. All you know, you just don't feel to get out of the bed in the morning, or you get out of the bed and you're just feeling very listless and not doing anything.
And Jennifer, we know, because all of us, all of you viewers, we've just come through 2 horrible years of COVID.
Yep.
Lock us up inside. We've lost family, we've lost friends. And many of us have not been able to grieve that loss of freedom, loss of friends, loss of family. And many of us don't know what we're doing. And it is important to go back to those issues we talked about with how you're going to give yourself that drive to go forward. A lot of us are stuck in situations that we don't like, be it a marriage. I'm not advocating leaving the marriage, be it a living situation, be it a community, and you just decide to withdraw. No.
You know what I've found too, Terry Ann, and we have to be very cautious about that. We tend to take on, because we have a lot of time and experience, we tend to take on all the current, the negative things that happen around us. And you know, there's a lot, right?
Yeah.
So they talk about the crime, and you would say, you know, look at what's happening these days with the crime. We can't do this, you have to be locked up, you can't go out, etc. And you allow that manifesting in you, that negative energy coming in. Okay, so we're in this rainy season and they have the storm alert, we have any earthquakes, etc. And you read people putting, oh gosh, they can't do anything, they won't want to leave the house, the flood, this. So you may not leave your house, yes, but that doesn't mean you're allowing yourself to get caught up waiting on your roof to blow off.
But these things have been happening forever when the rainy season.
Yeah. So, and every day, of course, that's the news, that's what sells. So it is easier for the newspaper to print all the drama and all the negatives to get the paper sell, or the news as the news would be. And sometimes a lot of the foreign news, and you're saying, so what that have to do with us? You know? But we get caught up. You may ring someone and say, somebody heard the news, so and so, this happened and that happened. And
they bomb a building in Ukraine, and I would say, and?
So, yes, we need to be aware of what's happening, but we don't need to have it manifested in us and all this negative energy coming in. And all we talk about is what's going to happen or what might happen or what took place, and not how we moving through the stages.
Exactly.
You know, so that's what I've found in terms of the time. We have a lot of time on our hands to listen to a lot of the negative news, and to use that as a topic for discussion.
Yes, to grumble and mumble.
Yeah.
You know? But there's something else that's very important that we've talked about before. We are going into the 70s and we have to prepare. And we have to prepare for when we are not there anymore. So we make this very quick. The will, the power of attorney, put somebody on the account. You have to prepare.
Terry, and that is really a topic, Emmy, and I would say this coming out of the financial sector, advising people, having done insurance, etc. Anytime you say debt or disability, will is like the mind just block out. It is not something that they want to talk about. And that is what creates a lot of issues, because I keep saying we can live until 100 very healthy, but we are not in charge.
Exactly.
So it is so important for us to have this sort of discussion with our families. And it's not, don't think, you know, I don't think of, then thinking of death or disability. You're thinking about your life, what you would want to happen.
Well, you advocate for this discussion and stuff for the family, for the people who have that kind of thing. And I'm saying for the ones who have no family.
Well, when I say family, it could be friends, the loved ones around you. You must have somebody.
You don't have to talk to anybody. Go and organize yourself. You can have somebody to talk to them. Yeah. But I think there are many people who they so don't trust anybody that they're not doing anything. But they,
well, you know, they have many things you can do and put in place. Simple, your account, you have an account. Then if you don't trust anybody, then you have to know. Some people, I'm not aware, let me put it that way, but I'm sure it could be done. I remember my uncle paid up front at the funeral home for his funeral and arrange how we wanted it done.
Yeah, yeah.
I remember last week I spoke about it where a friend mentioned that a friend's mom made the decision up front to book into a home. So if you don't have that family support, if you don't have those loved ones around you, and you have to do it for yourself, you can do it. I totally agree. You can put things in place. You can do
arrange for your life.
Have different
arrange for your life.
You get advice, because you can get the legal advice, whether it is a living trust or who going to be responsible, whether it's a financial institution or not, to ensure that money is paid to the home. Different things you can do. But as you said, Terrian,
I have found that the banks have been very helpful. Even if you can make arrangements to put someone on jointly in some account, and you can put conditionalities. You can put conditionalities.
But you would only know that when you go to find out and chat about it. So my thing is to seek advice. Don't wait. Even if you decide at the end of the day not to do the will or not to do whatever, it's your decision. But at least you would have made an informed decision.
You know your options.
You know your options. So it is important. I totally agree to understand last expenses, to understand what you would like to happen in your life. We're not saying you're going to die at 70 or you're going to die at 80. Remember that. It's about planning.
And it's not, I think, more important than planning for death is planning for life with reduced capacity, so that you still have a fruitful life. And that, so who will have access to your funds? What kinds of instructions are you leaving? You have to do that now. You have to do that now.
And you know, a friend keeps saying, Jennifer, these type of morbid conversations.
This is not morbid.
But let me tell you, I am sure you all out there know of families or a family or friend or somebody with a lot of confusion because things weren't put in place.
I am not even saying that it's about death. It's about reduce your life.
And I am saying that they didn't put things in place is confusion because you don't know what to do, whether to send them in a nursing home if you're ill, to go to the hospital, whether to spend the money on X or not spend the money on X.
Let me tell you what will happen. Let me tell you what will happen. If you don't make decisions now, but you have diminished mental capacity all of a sudden, you know, the bank will seize your accounts and even you won't get your money. So one of the things you have to be doing is preparing financially for the unexpected. And the unexpected is anything. You could be in an accident. You could
Yeah.
lose a limb, you could lose an eye. You must have things in place. You're big and you're grown. So it's time to give up some of those.
And listen, we need to talk about it. We're speaking about this, but remember earlier we spoke about health. With all this,
Yeah.
we are watching our health to try to make I reach the 70s. Don't worry. I put things in place, but I looking to live healthy and enjoy life and be
Exactly.
very active into the 80s. So I am not saying I'm going to be lying down in bed. No, but I want to make sure, I want to be comfortable, my mind at ease, knowing that I have put things in place in the event of emergency. But other than that, I am living life.
Of course.
Yeah.
You know, and two other things we have to do. We hinted about it before.
Yeah.
Yes, you have to remain social, but continue to learn, do new things. And learning is not going to school. Try a new recipe.
Yeah.
Go to a place that you haven't gone before. You know, read something different. Go on a website and put in a word that you learned, and you just explore something else. These are such important things that we can be
You know,
doing.
Terry Ann, when we talk, and people say they don't have a computer or they don't have this. This is so simple now. Today, actually, as we said, my mom is 100 and she need a phone. I didn't realize the last cell phone and they have phone for seniors.
Yeah.
So I got a phone for seniors. And you set it up and you just scan everything and you just press the, you know what I mean? You press the number, say this is Jennifer number. You don't have to dial anything.
Exactly.
So we need to be, technology now, we can't sit back and say,
I can't
we
do it.
don't know, or you
No.
can't do it,
No.
or your hands. We're not old.
You'll
Let
be
me tell you,
abandoned in your 70s.
you're not old. When I thinking of age and aging, and I think of the president of the US, his age, and a lot of those African presidents that they go on forever.
Who got me there at 96.
You understand?
Look at the
And
Queen
the
of
Queen,
England.
and now when I say the Queen of England, who's still giving, almost giving trouble, but still reigning and making decisions and serious decisions, the brain is clicking.
Yeah.
So we are not saying you're aging or you're going into planning for 70s mean you're planning to lie down in bed. No. We recognize top leaders are in the 80s, late
90s.
80s, doing great. Actors, many, many, many prominent people out there who still very, very alert and could give advice and all that. So please, it is not about, it's about aging well, being happy, and as we said, using your skills and talent and continuous learning.
Exactly.
It have so many things. Yeah. And for those, go on the net, you have you have the computer, you have your
phone,
get a laptop,
you have a smartphone,
you have a
smartphone.
And you would enjoy just browsing the net.
The grandchild tablets.
I put everything in, anything I want to find out, I put it in. And when I want to relax, I put home and garden or something, and I look at some new way to do something.
Oh, music. You listen to music that you like.
Anything you like to do, you can do. And that is great. Whatever type of music there is, you put it in and you relax. I just saw yoga for seniors and I say, yes, I'm going to start that.
So people, it's simple. Get prepared for life in your 70s. We hope we've really, really helped you to think about and reflect on what's happening with you and your life. Because Jennifer and I are certainly enjoying life and preparing. And in the next segment, you will hear about how we prepare with one aspect of our lives.
Yeah, and I want to remind you all, definitely, we have gone through these different aspects. We got a lot of feedback. And I know there are many of you out there who need that support, who need that holding your hand, helping you along. Just remember, we have our program getting ready for the 70s. There are 4 sessions. Give us a call, schedule your session, and that's it.
And we'll
We
go
will
through
chat
these
with
4
you and help you
areas.
along.
Yeah.
And we have done it as an individual program. So we are dealing with you on a one-on-one basis. So give us a call.
60 Plus Tribe. Are you ready for your 70s? Why not? Whom are you minding? Are you spending money blindly? Where are you living? Is it where you want to live in your 70s and beyond? How are you going? Is your health and happiness your priority? What are you doing? Living an active and purposeful life? Join this coaching program and be ready for an exciting and transformational journey in your 70s. It's 4 one-hour sessions at your convenience. Cost only $800. To register, call Jennifer at 685-8834 or Terry-Ann at 682-9202. See you there.
So we're all in tune, getting ready for the 70s. So let's hop over to the other section where we talk about our community. So Jennifer, we are in Tribe and we in this season. So what happened this weekend?
Wow, we party with launch of Brass to the World. Yes, brass music, clap parties, yes, dancing.
2 carnivals ago. It was 2, well, not 2 carnivals, the last carnival that we had.
Prior to the pandemic,
We linked up with Brass to the World, Bert Maslin and Diane Maslin, and it was looking for horn. And they're coming back out for 2023, and 5.8G Posse, we coming out again.
Yes.
And we're linking up with our dear friends at Gael, and we are joining the flag party. And listen, we had a time on the band launch, so take in some sights and songs and then come back to see if you recognize us. Jennifer, you made a point before. People would think this was a great event. Our tribe, everybody having a ball, Ronnie and Super Blue. Listen, it was just great. Nice hours, 8 to 2.
I didn't know I would have been able to survive. I reached about 2.
Last year, I thought you couldn't survive Brasarama. You'll survive it again. But
So
it was
so much fun.
It was such fun. And it was nice, you seen Ronnie and Ainton flag party. And anyone recognize our ardent follower, Joanne Rossio, waving the flag. So,
it is really, really beautiful to come out, have fun. It is such a beautiful group of people. You come out, you're honoring. Super Blue is like, he is the king of colors. What do you say?
yeah,
But
the king of
he is the
soca.
one introduced all that I would say the music really. It was fantastic. It was fantastic because anytime Super Blue around, all you feeling to do is jump and wave, jump and wave.
And what I thought was really nice, I love the combination of Ronnie McIntosh and Super Blue for this venture, because so they have such history with Soca Monarch, and looking at their camaraderie on the stage, I can't wait to be on the road with them next carnival in February 2023. And we talked about just now, stay social, stay connected. So listen, keep tuned, and you're going to get all the information. Guile viewers, you're going to be hearing it from Errol, and Connections people, we're going to hear it from us, and we're all going to meet on the road next year. So listen, continue to get some other snippets of us having a ball at the Brass to the World band launch with Bert and Diane Maslin. And we will see you next week, because next week is, Jennifer, something special is happening at our next show.
Yes, we're looking to celebrate emancipation. Remember our last emancipation show, where it was beautiful.
Yes, we had a
Where
concert.
we had concert. No, we're not having a concert this year, but
We're going to have a
we're
nice
doing something different.
Yeah, but everybody next week, dress up in your ethnic gear, your best garb. We celebrating emancipation, and have a grand time. Start dancing, start practicing, think about what's important to you, and let's all be ready for the 70s. So see you next week.
Bye.
Plus Tribe, and follow us from Trinidad and Tobago and the Caribbean.
Thank you for joining us on this Connections 50 Plus 5.8G Alive show.
We hope you enjoyed the lively conversation and look forward to seeing you next week.
Don't forget to like our Facebook page and subscribe to our YouTube channel.
We really love getting your feedback. Bye for now.